The HP Omen 870 was one of Omen's flagship gaming PCs back in 2016 and had a starting price of $1,000. It came with some of the most powerful specs at the time, like a GTX 1080, but just how good is it today? Well, I just bought one and you can buy it brand new on Best Buy or Walmart for $1,000. Although I probably wouldn't recommend it. I'm super surprised they're still selling a gaming PC that's this old. It's literally a decade old. The box does look a little bit old and a little bit dated, so it seems like they might have had this in inventory for a while because I don't know if anyone's really buying these PCs that are 10 years old anymore. The first thing in the box is the power cable and a normal HP desk mouse, not a gaming mouse, so that is a little bit odd. We also have what looks to be a normal HP keyboard, so not a gaming keyboard with RGB. And this is the gaming PC. The packaging on it looks pretty normal, so nothing out of the ordinary there at all. And time for the final reveal, it's upside down. All right, so this is how the 10-year-old HP 870 looks, and it definitely looks very different from modern PCs. The first thing I need to point out is the entire panel is solid, so it doesn't even have a glass or plastic. The front looks kind of a little bit modern, but what's weird is actually on the back, there is a little bit of cooling and like vents for like the power supply and some fans, so that's very weird. They added a panel over here on the back with holes, but not for the actual front side panel. Oh no, what I actually noticed is this is the panel, so it actually is inverted. Usually gaming PCs have like the glass or like the mesh panel over on this side, but on this PC, it actually seems to be over on the left side, which is very, very weird. But recording all my YouTube videos in here always takes such a long time, so I don't have enough time to make my own meals. So that's why I use Factor. And they are America's #1 ready-to-eat meal company. They have chef-crafted meals delivered straight to your door with no prep, and it not only is nutritious but tastes amazing as well. But the best part is my food is ready in just minutes and saves me so much time every day. I love that Factor has over 100 meals, breakfast, snacks, and shakes to choose from, so I have so many different options. My favorite part about Factor though are how much they align with my health goals, because not only do most of the meals have over 30 grams of protein, but they also don't use refined seed oils and just artificial junk in their meals. I was so shocked at how good it tasted when I first tried it. Everything tastes so fresh, and the best part is you're getting a balanced level of nutrition. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use my code up on the screen to get 50% off on your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. One per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on your first box, new or returning subscribers only, and it varies by plan. I'm very curious how the inside of this PC looks, so opening this up, it looks pretty chaotic. Okay, I don't even know why they did this, but the graphics card is literally upside down. You can see that the graphics card is also giant. I did not expect it to be this big, and you can tell everything is just inverted. It looks very, very weird. We have hard drives in here as well because this PC is so old. They're not using SSDs. So yeah, that is definitely going to be a little bit of a long loading time. I do see one SSD and one hard drive over here, so yeah, I'm definitely going to use the SSD so we actually can like load games fast, because yeah, hard drive is extremely slow. But I'm still very confused as to why they actually put the PC layout like this. The motherboard is literally upside down. The CPU is literally down on the bottom right of the PC. The graphics card is completely upside down. Everything is just inverted, and as you guys can see, the cables are an absolute mess. I mean, you're not going to be able to really see it because there's no glass side panel, but yeah, it's kind of insane, the cable management on here. I do see a few zip ties around to at least attempt at doing a little bit of cable management, but it definitely is not the best. I have absolutely no idea why all the parts inside of the gaming PC were flipped, but let's talk about the actual parts inside of the PC. So for the processor, despite this being a 10-year-old gaming PC, it's actually using the Core i7 7700. I was super surprised and didn't expect that because it's not as old of a CPU or processor as I expected. So I searched it up and it actually released in January 2017. So this is definitely maybe a little bit of an updated model. It is a little bit of a shame though that they're using just a stock cooler, but I think if they're using that, it hopefully should be good enough to cool that CPU, although that processor is actually a pretty good processor, even in 2026. Now for the RAM, it is a little bit hidden, but it actually is 2 sticks, which is amazing, so we can take advantage of dual channel, and each of these sticks is 8 gigabytes, and I was expecting it to be DDR3, but it is DDR4. So yeah, for a 10-year-old gaming PC, HP and Omen were really using like flagship parts for this PC. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is this massive graphics card that I absolutely did not expect. I had no idea they got this big, but it actually is the GTX 1070. That is a 8 gigabyte card, and I have absolutely no idea how the cooling is affected by having it upside down, because this is the first PC I've ever seen with the graphics card upside down like this. So that is very weird. Like I mentioned in the intro, you could get this PC with up to a GTX 1080, but of course that would go over the $1,000 budget. So for a 10-year-old gaming PC, it's not looking too bad. In terms of the storage, it does have a 1 terabyte hard drive, so most of your games are going to be stored on that, which is a little bit slow, but at least they did include an SSD, and it is 256 gigabytes, so it isn't the most amount of storage. Obviously, this PC isn't going to have Windows 11, so it is operating on Windows 10, which is perfectly fine, and a lot of people still use it. However, there is one thing that I heard a lot of people complaining about this PC, even 10 years ago I saw in some of the comments. So the specs are pretty decent, however, the power supply is not the best. It is a 500-watt power supply, and I heard some people complaining that isn't enough power. I think it should be good enough to at least run the PC, and I'll see if there's any issues with it. But yeah, if you want to upgrade any of the parts in this PC, you probably would also need to upgrade the power supply, which is a pretty big drawback. Before I touch anything else, I want to quickly plug it in and just make sure everything is actually working. So the power button is over here on the top, and let's give it a quick power. Hopefully it actually boots up. Yup, there we go. And as you would expect, there isn't any RGB over here, but there might be some on the front. Okay, there is a little bit of RGB over here on the front of the PC. I just saw it red and now it's blue, green. So it looks like you do have a few colors changing on it. So, oh, even a nice little light blue. So there is a little bit of RGB, but unfortunately there is not any RGB inside of the gaming PC itself. So for $1,000, that is a little bit disappointing. The only other weird thing about this PC is it does come with a SD card reader, which is amazing, by the way. I don't know why they stopped adding that, because as a content creator, that is so useful. And another thing I noticed is on the back of the PC, there are like literally no USBs. Like this motherboard only has 4 USB slots, and that is it. And of course, you plug your HDMI and display ports right into the graphics card over here. And then on the front, oh, okay, I didn't even know. So there is also a DVD reader. I think you just press this button. Yup. So there is a DVD reader on this PC, which of course is super old. I don't know who uses DVDs anymore. So yeah, for an old PC, it is a little bit weird, especially since there's only 4 USBs on the back and then there's only 2 more on the front. So there isn't that much on this PC. For a 10-year-old gaming PC, it looks way better than I expected, and the specs are actually really good. I was worried it wouldn't boot up properly, but everything seemed to be working perfectly fine, so it was time to run a quick benchmark on it. For the benchmark, I'm going to be using User Benchmark, which is one of the most popular, if not the most popular benchmark tool to test out your entire gaming PC, from the CPU, RAM, GPU, storage, all of that. It's also completely free, so I'm just going to download this real quick, and as you can see, there are a lot of tests going on right now. This is just going to give me a rough idea of the overall gaming score and if any parts inside of the PC are not working properly, and it's just going to overall score our PC for workstation, gaming, and just make sure everything is actually good. So here's how it looks. It's a little bit weird, but we just have to launch this, and you can see it's going to test out our CPU, the i7-7700, GPU, GTX 1070, and our RAM, which is 16 gigabytes. So now it's just going to benchmark each of the parts, and I'll show you guys the final results. The benchmark results are now complete, so let's open them up, and I have no idea what to expect. Okay, so definitely not looking too hot. It gave us a gaming score of 25%. Desktop score of 83, we don't really care, and a workstation of 22%. Why is it so bad? So it actually is saying our CPU is performing above expectations, and it's saying that our GPU is performing very, very bad. And our RAM as well. It's performing below the 19th percentile, which just means it's not performing too good. So that is a little bit weird, and it's literally showing that like the GPU just is performing bad. It's saying that this GPU can handle older games, but will struggle to render recent games at resolutions greater than 1080p, which makes sense. This is a 10-year-old gaming PC, so it honestly perfectly describes it. I mean, dude, it's comparing it to an RTX 5070, which gets a 100% score, and we're getting a 25%. I think like getting a fourth of like a 5070 for being 10 years old is not that bad. But that's just the first of 3 tests I'm gonna be doing on this 10-year-old gaming PC. So up next, I'm gonna load into one of the easiest games in the world, Minecraft, just to warm up this gaming PC and see how much FPS it can get. So we just loaded in, and it looks like the FPS is at 100, which 100 FPS is good, but for a game like Minecraft, and for it to not even be getting it extremely consistently is a little bit worrying. Oh, it's because we definitely have VSync on, so let's turn off VSync. There we go. Okay, this is what I was more expecting. I was a little bit surprised we were only getting 100 FPS. Now we're able to get 300 FPS on default Minecraft settings, so nothing done to it at all. Almost 400. If we just look up at the air, don't touch anything, almost 800 FPS on a 10-year-old PC. Now, obviously, we are just looking up at the sky, but like I mentioned, Minecraft is a very easy game to run, but I'm actually very, very surprised it's able to get almost 400 FPS pretty consistently. So let's play around with some of the settings. Right now, we're just turning everything off, making sure it's on the lowest possible. Our render distance is on really, really close up, so now we should be getting even more FPS. Yeah, you can see just now moving around, we're literally getting 600 to 700, I didn't mean to say that, FPS consistently. Looking up at the air, it's about the same, almost 1,000 FPS though. We're very close to 900, so that is very, very impressive. Okay, so now everything should be on like the max kind of default in-game settings. So yeah, you can see our render distance is a lot farther now, and everything is kind of loading in, and we're still able to hit 100 FPS. It's not super consistent, but look at how wide our FOV is. It does lag a little bit when we're trying to load something new. So this is when it's stuttering. Looking up at the air, it's still able to get 300 to 400, which is pretty good. Yeah, it actually has quite a bit to render, and I honestly will say it is definitely stuttering a little bit, but I don't think people really play on Minecraft settings this high anyways. So in terms of Minecraft, I'm gonna give this PC a pass for sure. Now for the moment you have all been waiting for. After successfully passing both tests, it's time to test the PC out in Fortnite. This will put the graphics card to the real test, and to make things more interesting, I'm gonna start off on low settings and then slowly max it out. So for the low settings, we're gonna be playing on 1080p DX11, everything turned down, and then later, like I mentioned, we're gonna put everything on the max and see how the PC performs. Skydiving right now though, on these settings, we are hitting about 100 FPS, which is kind of decent. This is when the FPS is gonna drop a lot, but thanks to the dedicated graphics card, which isn't even that bad at all, we're actually able to like get some pretty consistent performance right now. I think I should be able to actually win this game. This PC seems like it's actually good enough. All right, dead on that guy, first kill. Now that we've got a little set into the game, I've noticed the FPS is very close to 200 actually. Even when I'm actually like building and doing all this type of stuff, it does drop a little bit to like around 100, but it is sitting over 100 FPS consistently the whole time, which is very, very impressive. Okay, another kid right here, 1 HP. Dead. This is looking a little bit too easy for this PC to run, so I need to give it more of a challenge. We're gonna go on the high quality preset, not the epic one, because epic is like a 5090 PC specs, but high is more like a gaming console, like a PS5 or something. So if it doesn't crash right now, okay, there we go. Now that we're on this settings, you can see the PC is definitely having to work a little bit harder here. It's getting like 60 FPS, so it is definitely a lot less consistent, that is for sure. It feels so delayed, it's not even like placing my builds in time. That's how actually like input delayed it is. 100? Okay, dead. Never mind. This PC is just still too good. I still have to keep in mind, we are gaming on a 10-year-old PC, and the fact that it's like this good is just like seriously, I can't even emphasize it enough. Even on these settings, I'm able to game literally completely fine. No issue gaming on this at all. Only 3 other players were game. Oh, it's actually hitting 100 FPS on high settings now. So I think the reason it's doing that is because there's less players inside of the game, and the zone is smaller, so there is just less to render. here. I do have to remember that this is a $1,000 gaming PC, so it is still super expensive, but yeah, just for the price, it's so good. Oh my gosh, this guy's 1 HP. Okay, the other guy's also in there. Yup, 1 HP on that guy. Okay, you're done. You're done, buddy. Come here. This guy's probably gonna die to zone here. Dead. Oh my gosh. First game on the $1,000 gaming PC, absolutely dominated on both high and low settings. I am very, very impressed with this. So for a 10-year-old gaming PC, it performs amazing, but to answer the question of if it's actually worth it, no. You can buy a much better gaming PC for $1,000 in 2026. But click on the video up on the screen to watch more and make sure to subscribe so we can hit 1 million subscribers by 2026. Remember, Jesus loves you and God bless.